Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I just want to talk about the energy that's kind of going on right now and just some trauma stuff. And then I'm going to pull some cards and get some messages and see what else we have. So, energy is very weird today, really intense. There's a lot of like disconnection, just a lot of like high vibrational energy coming in. As it's coming in, there's a lot of like energy in your body clearing. It feels really uncomfortable and it's going to be in different areas of your body. Your body might feel heavy, you might feel kind of disconnected. As you're feeling disconnected, you might also be just kind of getting like random thoughts. Externally, the energy, when I woke up, I could feel it before I even woke up. And when I woke up, I was like, all right, what the hell is going on? Because this just feels weird. I was feeling this, the energy externally almost feels like this very like heavy anxiety, fear energy, this like kind of like worst case scenario energy. Like, so as you're feeling it, you might have like a thought come up and then like feeling like really worried or afraid like something bad's gonna happen. Just very odd. I've never really felt it like that. I know we had kind of a similar energy about a week ago that was very weird like this. This is, I don't know, I've never really felt anything like it. But kind of what they're saying is the energy is kind of like putting this pressure on our bodies to kind of release old fears or old anxieties, thoughts maybe you didn't realize you had, but they're also saying conditionings and things you picked up on from like movies and TV and society and things people have told you. So that's kind of what's going on with you. Definitely make sure you're listening to your body. Like if you're needing rest, then rest. You know, if you're having like energy to do things, then obviously do things. But if you're feeling really down or you're just not feeling great, rest. Try not to give into the fears. Try to just like allow the energy to come up and just feel it and release it. You can definitely give yourself like validation, like, okay, although maybe physically I don't feel good or something's wrong, like I actually know I'm okay. I actually know I'm safe. There's a lot also going on with, they're saying like the counterparts where you're kind of hearing each other's thoughts and feeling each other's feelings, but they're saying like, don't go backwards. Like make sure you're trusting your intuition. And I just looked up and I saw 222, which is oftentimes that like the soulmate, you know, kind of number, the twin flame. I don't like to say twin flame because I think the community and the fucking verbiage and shit behind it is awful. But 222 is usually that number. That's what it signifies for me anyway. And like there's a lot of fears and there's a lot of doubts and a lot of stuff that's kind of coming up from the past. So let them be what they are, process them and let them just be what they are. But also trust your intuition because you know things too. And oftentimes, like they mirror things in you that you need to heal. And some of you guys have some repressed stuff that's kind of coming out. So some of you guys might be having triggers or towers over the next few days from when you see this, not when I record it, from when you see it. So you might see this in a few weeks, you might see it in a few months. The message is, yes, it's still for you, for whoever needs that. When I say that, I know Spirit's like guiding me to say that because somebody's going to see it and they're going to be like, oh, she recorded this, 3 weeks ago. Oh, she recorded this 6 months ago. Message is still for you. Trust me when I tell you, I've actually watched videos back that like I've done that Spirit like randomly would guide me to like from a year ago or something, and I'd open it and I'm like, oh my god, this is literally exactly what's going on for me. So yeah, it doesn't, timing is not a thing. The thing I do want to talk about, this came up for me yesterday and I kind of want to share it just to help anybody else who's going through this. So a lot of us have like addictive patterns and we don't even know we do. So, we have the very obvious addictions, which is like drugs, alcohol, food, social media, sex, like that type of stuff, right? But we don't talk about emotional addiction. So I'm just going to kind of explain what happened to me last night and kind of say it like that so it's easy for me to explain where I'm getting at. So last night I'm like taking a bath and I'm having these thoughts come up from my childhood and I'm feeling this energy from when I was a kid, like when my dad was there. I don't know. I don't remember the memory. It was just like a specific thing that came up. But for some reason I was being guided to feel into the energy. And, I think as a kid I saw, you see like the TV shows or the movies where like the dad's really excited to see the kid or they're really proud of them. And I was kind of feeling all this energy, not even just from that like time, but from other times, like even, in my youth and as an adult, even when I opened my store and stuff, how he was never really proud of me. He was never really happy and all this shit. And this deeper feeling and this thought came up at the same time that was, wow, if I can't even make my dad happy, like how could I be in like romantic relationship, obviously be in a relationship with anybody and then be happy with me. And kind of the thought that came with that is, you know, if I end up dating somebody or something like that, I feel like they're never going to feel happy being with me, and they're going to like want to leave because they're just not going to be happy with me. And that's not how I actually feel, but that's how like the thought that came up yesterday, because I guess it was like a deeper issue. And I realized, I was like, oh, that's kind of crazy. I don't feel that way anymore, but that's kind of crazy. I used to feel that way and feeling that energy, and where it started from my childhood, like I developed this belief system around it. But what happened after that, and I want to kind of set it up so you understand what I'm talking about. So I kind of started feeling like bad, and it was just like, God, that felt like awful as a kid. I didn't realize how bad I actually felt with that situation, and feeling that energy that my dad just like didn't even care that I was there. Like it was more so I got attention when something was needed, or when it was negative, like basically taking shit out on me, or they needed something from me. And it was never positive. I never got hugs. I never really got told I love you. I never got told like I was proud of you or anything like that. This song comes on, and it's Halsey, and like she's singing about like how he's moved on and he's about to get married with somebody else, and kind of just like that energy of like you feel not good enough, right? And I start feeling good after this, and so now I'm like real curious because I know what my normal energy is. So now I'm like, what the fuck's this? And then I replay the song like 2 more times, and then I'm like, wait, what is this? I'm like, all right, let me feel into this. And I'm like, man, there's that shame energy of not being good enough. See, they chose somebody else. See, you weren't good enough. See, they didn't like you. And I'm like, why does that feel so good in my body right now? Like, and I went through this a few months ago, actually realizing how I felt personally. I felt shame felt good in my body. It might not feel good for everybody else, but how shame felt good in my body. And I was just like, what the hell? And the stuff I realized months ago was sexual trauma stuff. So like, as soon as I realized that I had to change certain perceptions or certain things I watched and shit like that to really stop that addictive cycle. And it would keep coming up and keep coming up, like in my mind, not anything outwardly. It would just keep coming up in my mind. And then like, as I stopped doing that stuff, it would just continually like keep coming up. And then once I stopped like giving into it, it just like went away and I'm good. Like once in a while the thought will pop up, but there's no really like energy or emotion unless I'm clearing something, right? So as I'm feeling this shame yesterday, I go, okay, let me look this up, because now I'm really curious why you would feel good feeling shame, because who the fuck feels good feeling shame, right? And like, I looked it up and I read this article. I don't know how truthful it is, but it felt pretty truthful when I was reading it, about how guilt, shame, and like certain energies, certain feelings in your body can activate the reward center in our brain and can release dopamine, which is, you know, usually with the addiction and stuff like that. And oftentimes people actually will drink or use drugs because they're feeling guilty or shame, so they're trying to repress that and calm it down or feel better, whatever a lot of times they're trying to avoid, and then it releases the same stuff. Don't quote me on all that, but I'm just giving you a general idea, right? So then I was like kind of trying to feel into this, and I go, so when I was a fucking kid, I had chronic anxiety because I was never fucking safe. And I constantly was afraid and anxious. Like no matter what happened, I was pretty much just kind of, my body was just in this hypervigilant state. And I realized when I go into the shame energy or the guilt energy, it almost calms that down. It almost calms anxiety, fear down. Like there's a reason for me feeling like this, and it kind of justified it. And I think as a kid, I became kind of addicted to that. And like, even if there was situations where a friend would do something, but they wouldn't do it for me, or I would want to date a guy, but then he wanted to date somebody else, I always made it like, am I not pretty enough? Am I too fat? Like, am I not smart enough? Am I not funny enough? Is there something wrong with me? And I always made it about something about me and something wrong with me, right? And it was because I was constantly feeding that shame of not being good enough, which went literally back to that childhood thing of my dad not being happy to see me and only getting negative attention and shit. And so the reason I share this is because oftentimes we're addicted to certain feelings and we don't even realize we're addicted to them. And so after I felt that yesterday, it was a very different than I've been feeling lately. I realized, wow, I've actually healed that. And it was really nice after the fact of going through it, obviously, really nice to see how far I've actually come, how I don't give into those addictive things whenever I catch myself doing stuff. This is a whole thing with healing, awareness, right? Every time I catch myself with those thoughts or trying to give into those behaviors or those perspectives or those mindsets where I'm trying to feed the negativity, I will literally stop myself and I will give myself positive affirmations and I'll say something validating to myself like, okay, I understand why you feel like that, but that's not true. And you know that's not true. And I will have conversations with myself, and I swear to you, it really works. Like, I don't want to get into personal stuff, but I swear to God, I've been doing it for like months, and the stuff that I didn't even realize I was doing, like I've calmed down so much. So when things come up, yeah, I still get triggered by stuff, but not nearly as much. And when people do certain things, I don't take it personal anymore. I don't make it about me. I'm like, they did it for whatever reason they did it for, has nothing to do with me, because it really doesn't. And I started kind of changing my perception, which changed everything. So if you're addicted to feeling guilt, feeling shame, feeling sad, feeling like a victim, feeling all these things, catch yourself when you do it and stop and do the opposite. And when you first do it, it's really uncomfortable. Your inner child basically, I'll tell you what happened for me. Your inner child kind of basically throws a tantrum and is like, oh, no, this is scary. We're wrong. We're bad. We're whatever, thoughts come up that you've probably heard before, and wants to like fight with you. And it's almost like this very strong resistance energy you feel internally. It's like the good and evil kind of fighting itself, but not literally, obviously, because your inner child is just trying to keep you safe, essentially. So it's like this inner conflict. But after a few times of you doing it, maybe 10, 12 times of you doing it, it calms down. It calms down and it like goes away pretty much. Once in a while, like I said, you'll have the thoughts, but there's no really emotion or trauma attached to it. So you're really not giving into it. So it's pretty crazy. But I want to share that because I don't think most people realize that like we feed into these feelings of not feeling enough, and then we make up these stories in our mind of like, oh, it means this, or this person doesn't care, or this person doesn't love me, or I'm not good enough, or I'm not valuable, or whatever shit we tell ourselves from our trauma that we've actually experienced from our trauma. The stories we tell ourselves we've already experienced or we've seen with other people, but I'd say most of the time we've actually experienced it. So once you go into that and you just have the awareness and you catch yourself doing it, just stop. It's just that easy. Just stop. When you feel the resistance, I want to see what that card is because it's hanging out. Justice. When you feel the resistance from it, just breathe through it and just keep validating yourself and just let it be. Like what I'll do is I'll actually just sit and I'll like just sit still and not really do anything. And I'm like, how am I feeling? And I'm like, okay, I feel like pressure in my body, or I feel like this. And I'm like, I tell everybody this, like, rub your hand, rub your arm. I have this little crystal, I have it in the living room. I have this little crystal massager. I'll rub it on it's a black obsidian. I'll rub it on my face. I'll rub it on my hand, my arms, my legs and stuff like that. And just to kind of soothe my body and like try to calm it down, or just kind of sit there and breathe and let it kind of pass through. And it goes away. You just don't want to push it back down, because then it's still sitting in there. You want to like actually let it up and sit in the discomfort and feel it. So, okay. Anyway, let's pull some cards. But I just want to share that because when that came to me yesterday, I was just like, oh yeah, I'm like, definitely people need to hear about this, because I'm like, I know this is going to help somebody. At least, yeah, that one person. Okay. So the Justice card came out. We're going to keep that one at the top though. Okay. On the bottom, we got 10 of Michael and Ace of Michael. Oof, I am already like on this one. So the 10 of Michael, a situation has ended. You're finally free. New opportunities for happiness that follow. Put the past behind you. Ace of Michael, a wonderful new idea. Don't allow bumps in the road to hinder your progress. Clear up communication problem with others. So this feels like two different messages. I'm going to tell you the two messages I got is, some of you guys are at the end of the cycle and you're feeling all that energy kind of clearing, and you're feeling all these endings coming. You're probably getting some clarity. You might not have like full clarity where you're like, oh, this is definitely ending, but you're like, okay, I can feel like something shifting and ending, right? And whenever that happens, you're going to just kind of smoothly, you might already be kind of transitioning into something new. There's going to be things that happen. I tell people this all the time. Every time something new starts, there's going to be bumps on the road. Nothing is going to go smooth. It doesn't mean it's not right for you. Like, you intuitively already know what's right for you. So don't allow, like some type of like problem or bump in the road to cause you to run backwards to fear. If it's something you really want and it's something you desire, then move toward it. Okay. But yeah, just keep moving toward that. The other message I got is actually the masculine and feminine. So the feminine, it's like she's actually ending a cycle, and it's this cycle of not feeling enough, not feeling worthy. She's coming into this very balanced energy, not right at this moment, but this is what you're working toward and close to it. And you're coming into your power where your light is going to shine so brightly that people are going to see it. So she's about to go on to like this soul mission that's for her. With the Ace of Michael I'm getting for the masculine is they're actually almost at the end of the journey too. They're actually, and I just realized this, is like climbing and stepping up the mountain. Like he's actually at the top of the mountain. And it's like he knows, I don't have to keep fighting this. I can actually open myself up and free myself. But it feels like he actually is still having issues with communicating. Like he's not being authentic and communicating his full truth right now. Okay, so there's definitely something with that. With the Justice card, it feels like an imbalance now. And that's because internally you're still shifting and working on things, and outwardly things will change. But you have to completely shift the internal for the external to show up. And so kind of what they're saying to me is this, right? If you're not fully ready for something to come in, then if it started coming in right now and it started showing itself to you right now, then you wouldn't be focusing on the work that you need to focus on. So it's the same thing of like, you have like a pizza party, like at school. I know this is kind of a dumbass analogy. It's just the thought that pops in my head. You have like a pizza party at school, and it's like, if you finish the test, you can have the pizza party. But like you're 75% done, 85% done with your test, and you're like starving, you're craving that pizza. They stick it right in front of your desk. And all you can focus on is the pizza, and you want to eat the pizza, but now you're not able to complete the test. So kind of like, the work you're doing needs to be completed in order for the outside to come, because if the outside was here, then you might still be pushing it away, running away from it, sabotaging it, and not fully stable and solid. Like the foundation needs to like be completely solid. We don't want like the house foundation to be like 95% dry where we start building the fucking rest of the house. We want the foundation 100% solid, 100% stable, and then we build the house. So that's kind of, you're getting to 100% stability internally for that to come in, for whatever the situation is. We got leap of faith, divine guidance, five of Raphael. Hold on, they want me to say this. I don't mean you have to be 100% healed or 100% that. What I mean is whatever the next step is that is coming in for you, you have to be 100% ready for that specific thing, not 100% ready for like healing in life, okay? Because we're always going to be healing and growing. It's not about that. It's just whatever it is, Spirit's guiding it. So you don't even need to fucking worry. Don't even worry about it. Like whoever is worrying about it right now, because I can feel this like chatter in my head, don't even worry about it. Like I promise Spirit is guiding it. Okay, we got leap of faith, divine guidance, 5 of Raphael. 2 major arcanas. Everything happens for a reason. Release regret and embrace the opportunities for happiness. Search for the silver lining. It feels like a lot of you guys are having a reflection on the past, and you're kind of seeing how far you've come and like how much you've grown. And as this is going on, Spirit's saying just kind of like look at what you learned and kind of look at where this journey has led you. Wow, I can't fucking talk. Has led you. Even though it hasn't been the easiest and it's been kind of difficult, like look at where it's actually leading you. Look at where it's led you. Like even last night for me, feeling that, I realized, oh my God, like how much my mindset has changed, how my perceptions changed, how I like just do things totally different, and how like that internal stuff has actually shifted outward with my personality, with the way I talk to people, the way I run my business, the way I do things, like has completely shifted because I'm not in people pleasing mode, and I'm not sitting there feeling bad about myself or feeling like I need to do certain things. Like a lot of things in my personal life have shifted. I'm still, in a storm, and I'm still dealing with these energies and these ups and downs and these fears and all this other shit coming in, but I'm much like more grounded and stable enough like to deal with these higher energies and to kind of work through them, to not give in fear, to not, you know, do all those things. I'm doing them in a healthier way, in a way that is just like more calm, like calmer. I don't know. I always fuck that up. Is it calmer or more calm? I mean, things are calmer. Okay, we're going with that. Anyway, I feel like a dumbass every time I say that. We got like, I'm like, is it calm or more calm? Like, whatever, calmer. I don't even know why. I used to, swear to God, used to be so good at like English and speaking, and I used to be so like literate. And I swear the last few years, like, I don't know, especially as the spiritual shit's coming up, I swear to God, I'm like so fucking dumb. I don't actually think I'm dumb. The way I speak, I sound dumb sometimes to myself. Not literally. I don't mean that shitting on myself. It's like joking, but yeah. Okay, we got leap of faith, divine guidance. Hold on, that just made me think of something. I never shit talk myself, like even joking around, because like it's whatever. I don't think that's funny, but I do know that I sound dumb as fuck when I say that stuff. So it is what it is. Okay, this is what I actually thought of when I said that. So I keep seeing this bullshit about what you think you manifest. Can we like stop with that shit? How many of us sit in fear? How many of us sit in anxiety? How many of us worry about like, oh my God, something horrible happening, or the energy transmitters like me constantly getting hit with all these fears and all this other shit going on, right? We're not manifesting that, guys. Like, that's not what's happening. What people should say, because you're not manifesting your thoughts, what people should say is where you focus your thoughts and your attention is what you're going to energetically feel in your body, the emotions you're going to feel in your body. That's what they're talking about. Because if you're worrying about things and you're looking at things and you're, you know, having all these worried thoughts, then you're going to physically feel worried. And that's what it is. That's what they mean. They don't mean like you're going to manifest bad things happening, but they, like, I see people constantly saying it. And I'm like, you guys are just creating more fucking fear. Like, that is completely unnecessary. And there's so many people have like freaking chronic anxiety. Like, it's not even funny. Why are you guys like just saying dumb shit without thinking? Like, there's no intention. It's just like stupid as fuck. It's just fear-monger bullshit, honestly, if you ask me. Okay, with the leap of faith and divine guidance. So yeah, actually, we already kind of said that with the one card. Is something new is coming. You guys already know this. We have a lot of endings, new beginnings, shit like that. You might be seeing 911 for that. I saw that when I was actually doing that. I saw that earlier and they said it to me now. So you might be seeing that. Like, something's ending and a spiritual thing is like a spiritual awakening is beginning. And it might just be a different level of it, right? Like a new level of your spiritual awakening to something new. But you are being guided on this. Like 100%, this new path, you've already been like, it's already been paved. You're like being guided. Some of you guys already started it. You just don't realize like you're in that because you're still in the old energy. You're still feeling like the old emotions and feelings. You're still clearing the old, but like you've already kind of started stepping into the new stuff. Like you've already been, like, I'll give you an example what I mean like that, because this is what just popped up. So obviously we know I do readings and stuff. And I've been talking about like doing things on a bigger scale. Spirit's been kind of showing me that. So lately, like on and off, I've been posting like the energy update post and stuff because my gifts have upgraded and I'm feeling into collective energy more. If you've noticed, I've also been doing a lot more videos talking about healing and different things besides just doing readings. And that's because I'm trying to, part of my path is trying to teach people how to heal, trying to help people bring awareness to what's going on with them and understand so they can change it and heal it. So that's part of the journey, which is why if you've noticed my stuff is shifting a little. I'm still doing readings because I love doing those too, but it's shifting and it's expanding because my gift and my purpose is opening up at like a bigger level and it's been being prepared, you know, like they actually said something to me about this the other day. Jesus. They said this something to me the other day. So like when I have stuff going on, I don't have to pull it up. I'm very well aware of my energy. I haven't always been. I've only been really doing healing shit for 4 years, if I'm being honest. I used to ignore it. used to purposely like stay busy, like all the bullshit, right? 2018, I'm telling you, is like the year for like a lot of us awakening and like really dealing with our shit or going into it. But anyway, like I've had the awareness to the energy I'm feeling in my body and all this other stuff. So like I can tell when something's wrong with me, like immediately. I can feel a shift. I can just tell. So when stuff's coming up, I know how to bring it up, energetically bring it up, the thoughts, but I also know how to like sit and wait when it's supposed to wait. And I just like was under the assumption that happens for everybody, and like just under the assumption that people, when they're feeling this or the thoughts are coming up, they just understand them and they have the awareness to what's going on. And Spirit's like, no, they don't, which is why I've been teaching that. Like, that's why I said earlier with the shame thing, to kind of give the example so you can understand how you go into those cycles and stuff. And I realized it, but it didn't kind of click until last night. What I was actually doing. I knew it with the one thing, but I didn't realize I was doing it with other stuff. And I didn't realize I had those good feelings in my body. And that's why I was actually doing that and focusing on that. The other thing actually that just popped up too is, yeah, sometimes when we hyper focus on a specific like person or situation or things like that, it's because there's something we're uncomfortable about or something unknown, and we're trying to shift our focus onto something different. So for whoever that is, just be mindful of it. And when you catch yourself doing it, just try to bring it back to center. Okay, we got interesting. Friends and colleagues, dark thoughts. Conflict, stuck energy, peace, back and forth. Okay. I'm so thirsty. This energy shit is driving me mental. It's so strong today. I want to say it's probably one of the most intense days, like, of physical energy. I felt like nothing is working for me. I've like tried to like lay down and calm down. Nothing. Try to do that massage stuff with the crystal. Try to use crystals, binaural beats, just deep breathing. Nothing is working. It's very awful today. I'm like, whew, all right. I know it's going to pass, which is how I get through it. And I just try to like focus. I'm getting like dizzy. I don't know if you guys can see when stuff happens to me or when I shift, I can feel it and I get dizzy, and I try to like stay grounded. This is what I meant though, like with the whole like Taurus thing. And a lot of us do this where like we can have like all this chaos going on inside of us or these energy shifts and shit, and you would just never notice because we're really good at like just outwardly staying very chill and grounded and kind of hiding it. With the friends and colleagues and dark thoughts, excuse me, feels like a lot of people from your past are energetically popping back up. I'm not getting too much of them actually showing up in your life. It more so feels like thoughts, feelings, just repressed things you had with friends, family, and people is what it feels like. And it feels like you're kind of seeing the shadow of it, and you're learning like kind of things that you didn't see before, where maybe you took things personal, kind of how I said earlier, like you might have taken things personal or felt like, you know, like, why weren't you good enough and shit like that. And when you actually sit with it, you realize it's just like a compatibility thing, or it was just something, maybe those people didn't have good intentions or shit like that. But it's like you're kind of getting the clarity and understanding of like that whole thing where you took basically like a perspective change to like see how things actually were, not the way you internalize them. They had me put conflict at the top and then the other three at the bottom. Yeah, so we have the eclipse coming up in a few days. Today is Friday, so I was like, I should start saying the days on them, because sometimes like the videos will pop up the same day and I'm like, I did that like 2 or 3 days ago, and I'll upload it after I'm done, and it just doesn't show up for 2 or 3 days, and they'll show up all at once, or like the one I did like 2 days later shows up before this one, and whatever. I should start saying the days on them. But yeah, it's Friday. So I think is today the 5th? It's the 4th or the 5th. I think it's on Monday, if I'm not mistaken, Monday or Tuesday. We have an eclipse, and then we also have the new moon too in Taurus. They're saying like Tauruses and Scorpios are going to be most affected. And I'm like Taurus sun, Taurus rising, Scorpio moon. I'm like, yeah, I'm always affected, if I'm being honest about that stuff. But it definitely feels like these energies coming up. So there's nothing to fear. I just want to start with that. There's nothing to fear. It's nothing that is over like the top or anything you can't handle, or all this crazy bad shit's gonna happen. Like everybody says, like, oh my God, like it's gonna be, no, it's not. It's the same shit we've been dealing with the last fucking year, guys. Like it's nothing extra. The energy might feel like a little intense, like more intense or amplified. It's the same thing like when there's super full moons, like I feel them really intensely too. The energy just amplifies a little bit more. So if you're energy sensitive, you definitely feel a little bit more. You just got to do more like relaxing and resting and self-care. But it definitely feels like kind of this just emotional stuff coming out, and it feels actually like it's going to be a good thing. Like the eclipse, like now until the eclipse is going, and this still could be for you even if you watch this after the eclipse. It could be just like within a few days of whenever you watch this. The eclipse energy is already started, and like the new moon energy, like all those energies outside of us are already kind of hitting us right now to kind of really clear shit. And it feels like whenever the eclipse happens, or like very shortly after, it's gonna like close something really quickly. Like all this stuff that's been going on, it's just gonna close and stop like out of nowhere. Which is weird because I actually looked up when the eclipse was the other day after I did that reading. I did a reading. I think it took like a few days to upload, but I did a reading, and they were saying the 9th through 11th about like cycles ending or something. So I actually looked it up. And November 8th is actually when the eclipse is. So I think the eclipse and the energy I'm kind of getting from this is the same, where it's like, that's going to bring something to bring closure. And then you're going to be like closing those chapters and those doors, however you need to do it on your own. But Spirit's going to be guiding it. So like, you don't have to worry about it. It will just naturally happen. The stuff will come up. It almost feels like during that period of time, it's not going to be like super turbulent or heavy, like all these towers. It feels like you're going to get the towers before then and the triggers before then. And there it's going to be more so like a clearing, and like more so like probably crying or awareness and like emotional releasing, rather than like the heavy energy. I'm hoping it calms down after that. It feels like it, but I don't want to like hold on to that and get our hopes up, because yeah. So like, we'll just live in the moment and see. But it does feel like almost like something's going to shift. And the energy they're kind of showing me is this just very chill, like neutral, like nothing energy. So, okay, with the stuck energy piece back and forth. This feels like a masculine feminine like relationship. It's like this contemplation. I'm getting the word contemplation from them very specifically. It's this contemplation, thinking about the future, kind of thinking about things, and like looking at the feminine and really admiring her. Like, I don't know if they're looking at pictures of you or like videos, or they're having like memories of you, something like that. And you might actually feel them if they're doing that, or having dreams of you. But it definitely feels like you're really heavily on their mind. So you might be thinking of them a lot more if they're thinking of you. It usually works that way. And I keep seeing all these mountains in the background, and I saw the mountains in, actually all these cards have mountains, and I saw them in the background of the other ones. So you might like have had a lot of like mountains to cross and like a lot of uphill battles in this situation. But we got the swans in this card too, and we got the swans in the other feminine card, the 2 swans. And actually I remember saying swans might be a thing the other day for a sign. I don't remember what they said that it was a sign about, but I know for me, swans usually to me are like love, like soulmate, just things being calm and peaceful, which is on the peace card. So if that's any like indication. And we got the rainbow too, which I think also they said was a sign for the video. Shit, I can't even remember now. But anyway, and it feels like, yeah, like almost like the feminine kind of brings like some type of peace or calmness to the masculine, but then it feels like he's fighting it and trying to like resist it. And it's like he wants to move forward, but then it's like he gets scared and kind of stops, and like he stops himself from moving forward for some reason. It just feels like there's some type of like conflict, and it feels like a lot of it has to do with like repressed emotions, like especially maybe like mother issues too. Kind of coming up for the masculines. I'm not really getting shit for the feminines, other than like, if this is for you, the masculine like really kind of sees you as this very calming, peaceful, nurturing, like loving energy. Like they like to be around you and talk to you, even if there's a lot of chaos or they don't really express it to you. Like, you bring them some type of like peace and like calmness and happiness, even if they don't say it. And if that's for you, you'll know it. But it's like they're not trying to like ignore you, or they're not trying to like hurt you, or, you know, any of that stuff. It's like they're really just trying to actually sit with their shit and figure stuff out. They're really trying to actually deal with stuff that they haven't in the past. So that's kind of what's going on with that. Moonology. Okay. Angel answers or Moonology? Moonology. All right. We're going to pull this, and I'm going to pull from the angel answers. I'm so fucking busy right now. I'm like, I got to go just lay down and rest because these shifts are literally driving me fucking mental right now. This came out last time, the practice gratitude. Last moon in Sag. Anything else want to come out or no? No, there's definitely, I was going to say there's yeah. Something else I want to come out. Okay. Trust all will be well. Very literal. We got practice gratitude, go wild, full moon in Leo. Full moon in Aries, cool your emotions. So with the practice gratitude card, more so what I'm getting is just kind of look at your journey. The same message I got earlier, like with the 5 of Raphael, kind of look at your journey and understand that everything's happening and helping you, especially in those moments where you're like so done with this shit and you're just like so sick of everything. Look at how far you've come. Look at how much you've internally changed, and realize that that's all preparation and tools that you're gathering to help you actually have a more peaceful, calm life, to have the things you actually want, so you don't have to keep going in these drama cycles, right? With the go wild and the cool your emotions, it definitely feels like some of you guys, as something new comes in, you're going to be very passionate and be very excited about it, but don't get too much into it. Like, don't like rush so fast into it where you're not grounded and like able to do things. Like, don't get too much into the emotional stuff. And like I said, there might be something, just some like bumps in the road or something. You might have already had the bumps in the road as the beginning of your journey started. Even if you don't realize it's the beginning of your journey, you might already be in it, and it might have already started a little bit, and you might have already had them. Try not to emotionally react. Try to see what this is teaching you, and just try to like be cautious about your communication and making sure you're saying things with more intention, because they're saying words do hurt people. Like, they're like, words last, and like, as much as, you know, sticks and stones, you know, words will never hurt me, words fucking hurt more than fucking sticks and stones, guys. Like, sticks and stones, yeah, your bones heal, like your fucking bruises heal. Words can literally last a lifetime, and it's not to sit there and say like we should guilt ourselves for shit we've said and done. We should forgive ourselves and, you know, grow from it, but also be more mindful, like, and be more intentional with your words and not say hurtful things, because we do take them personal. We're emotional beings, we're humans, and we do take things personal, and it hurts sometimes. It hurts words that are said and things that are done. So they're just saying like, be more mindful, because you don't realize like how much it might actually hurt somebody. And even if you mean it as like a joke, it might not actually feel like a joke to that person, and it might trigger, you know, a wound or trauma that they had, that, you know, whatever. And no, you're not responsible for other people's feelings, but you're responsible for the words that come out of your mouth. You're responsible for saying things in a respectful, mindful way too, where you're respecting other people. You're being like mindful of them too. It's not just about, you know, us. It's also about the way we talk to other people and being mindful of them. So just be conscious of that, they're saying. Okay. We have remain positive in opportunities. So yeah, I'm telling you guys, like, something's coming. I don't know how many fucking decks we need to pull. Something's coming. Even if you're not seeing it outwardly, it's still coming. Like, you already intuitively feel it. You already know it. You've already gotten the message. You've already gotten the visions. The feminines, like, I feel like we've already gotten stuff. The masculines have too. The masculines get visions. They feel like they're more listening to them and trusting them than they used to. I think we got that the other day too, is like, spirits like, you are gonna fucking listen to this and pay attention to this. Like, they're laughing right now. Like, you're gonna listen to this and pay attention to this. Like, we're not letting you just keep going into the, I'm not sure if it's true, I don't want to trust this, because you're too scared to trust, you know, their intuition, because it's scary trusting that without the logic, without seeing things in the reality. It is not fucking easy. It is not easy. And anybody who's like, oh my God, I'd love to know what's going to happen. I'm like, would you? Because when your physical reality and all your triggers keep saying the fucking opposite, do you know how hard that is to keep moving forward and trusting it when everything looks not that way? When everything does not look that way is not fucking easy. Speaking from experience, it's not easy. But trust your intuition, trust what you know, and you don't have to let it dictate your choices. You know, do what's right for you in this moment, regardless of what you've seen for future stuff. But do what's in alignment for you. If you do what's in alignment for you in the moment, whatever you saw in the future is always going to work out anyway. Maybe sometimes you have to do the opposite of what you think you need to for the future to align, but you maybe need to do that to release something or heal something for that to actually open up. So whatever you feel is right for you, do that, okay? But yeah, like, even if you're feeling doubts or you're worrying, like, nothing's going to pass you by. Anything that's meant for you is going to happen. It's going to be lasting. That's why you've been on this journey for years, and that's why it's been taking so long, so it can be stable and solid, so it can last, so you can have the happiness and the fucking abundance and all the shit you want. With the compromise, helpful people. So interesting, we got the scales just like with the justice card. I'm just getting balance in relationships, balance in your friendships. For people, it definitely feels like this romantic relationship for some of you guys is coming in. I looked up and I saw 44. So definitely some spiritual relationships. It feels like they're going to be solidifying this month. A lot of them feel like they're going to be kind of taking off and solidifying this month, or they're going to be starting this month where you're either meeting them or meeting up with them, or you know, going on a date or making plans and like kind of coming together. Like the coming together energy feels like it's coming like days for most people, from whenever you see this, right? So it's going to bring some type of balance. It feels like there's a lot of imbalance in relationships right now. There's going to be some type of balance, but it's like your spirit team is guiding you and helping you. You know, every time you feel frustrated or you feel like giving up or you feel just like this injustice, like your spirit team is guiding you and they're bringing you, you know, peace, and they're bringing you messages and stuff. And I do want to just say this. I don't think I talked about what happened last week. And I'm not going to talk about it, but something had happened, and it was just really heavy for me. It was really hard for me. And I was just like, fuck. And I could actually feel my mom show up for like just a minute to give me like some comfort, which just made me cry even more. So I haven't really been feeling like my spirit team or like, you know, my guides and my angels too much really at all, but they're there. And like, when you need them, like you can feel them. They're all along, you know, they haven't gone anywhere. So just know that, like, they're definitely there a lot more. And I've actually noticed more people coming into the shop, like their family and stuff is giving messages and stuff like that. So yeah, they're definitely there. They're definitely guiding you. Like some of the stuff that's going on, that's coming for you, that's really good. Like they're actually guiding like the whole thing to help you get there. And like, cause they see the path, they see the journey, they understand it. So they're guiding you. And even if it seems like it's bringing you off route, it's really not. They're actually guiding you the right way. So I hope that this message helps. I hope you guys all have an awesome night.